Hey guys, THUNDERSTUD here, and today we have a brand new Cyberse deck. Believe it or not, we got new Cyberse support, kind of a mini archetype in these clock up monsters. And they really only work because we got Fusion Clock Up the skill. It's a new skill for Playmaker. It's a super crazy skill that does a whole bunch. So it's going to prop this deck up for a while. But it revolves around this new boss monster, the Cyberse Clock Dragon. He takes the Clock Wyvern, which is another card we have, and a Link monster. When this card is fusion summoned, send cards from the top of your deck equal to the Link rating of the monster you used for this fusion, because you do need a Link to do it. You gain 1,000 for each card sent this way. Blah blah blah, cannot target other cards, and then other cards can't attack when you do this. If he's sent to the graveyard by card effect, you get to add a spell, namely the Stark Hole, to your hand. So that's essentially why we add the Dark Hole, just for a massive comeback when he gets destroyed by a card effect. But essentially all he takes is this new card, Clock Wyvern, and a Link monster, and you get to fuse them with this new Cynet fusion. And all this is going to be really searchable, really easy to use. Even if you only have one copy of each of these super rares, you can still play this deck. So we'll go over it right now. What does Clock Wyvern do? This card's normal summon or special summon. You get to summon a clock token, just 0/0 level 1, and only do it once per turn. So simple enough, right? And then with that little token, we can actually turn it into a monster with the skill. What the skill also does to help the consistency, even if you only have one copy of these super rares, you can send any Cyberse monster or a copy of Cynet Fusion from your hand to the deck. Then you get to add a Clock Wyvern and a Cynet Fusion to your hand. So it's very consistent. You're always going to have at least one Clock Wyvern to play. So even if you have one, you're still virtually always going to have it, as long as you play other Cyberse monsters and play Cynet. Then the last part of this skill is turn 2 monsters on the field to Dark Dragons, and then add a decoder to your graveyard. Why do they do this? So it's for Borreload, Fusion Dragon, two dark dragon type monsters. You turn your monsters to dragon type. Now you're telling me THUNDERSTUD Cynet Fusion doesn't fuse dragons. It only fuses Cyberse monsters. So how are you even fusing into this Borreload Dragon? Well, that's also the new Link monster, Proxy F Magician. 2 effect monsters. It is Cyberse. You will have to use the skill to get it out most of the time, unless you've run into a secretary, backup secretary, who just special summons or stuff like that. But what it does, you can fusion summon using stuff on the field. So you would turn this monster, and it's generally going to be a Clock Wyvern, the way the skill works, into a Dark Dragon. Then you can use its skill to summon this Dark Dragon, the Borreload. You'll see in the replays, it'll be much more clear. You'll see why it's usually going to be the Clock Wyvern. You'll see why this is propped up by the skill. All those kind of things. So, wild deck. It's propped up by the skill, like I keep saying. But as long as you have any kind of Cyberse monsters, this deck's gonna pop off, so definitely go for it. I'm still using Degrade Buster. We got another Cyberse Fusion monster, Chimera. We got this level 1 Link, Talkback Lancer you could do with even just the token, and then he tributes another Cyberse. You'll see that in the replay too. Bunch of wild stuff. You'll see Detonate to Leader to Leading. Cool deck, fun duels, interesting stuff, very detailed. You'll see it, hope you like it, and thanks for watching, guys. Alright, here we are facing D Heroes. He is in fact D Heroes. We're going first. I was going first a lot with this deck, but this duel is going to show you everything, guys. It's going to show you first turn boards. It's going to show you the use for every part of the skill. So you start off with the skill. We threw a clock away. You get a clock and a Cynet. How do you beat that? So we go with this Wyvern. Use the second part of the skill. So we use the first part of the skill to throw a clock away, search a clock in a Cynet. And we use the second part of the skill to turn the token we had into a Stack Reviver. Now when Stack Reviver is used as a Link, he gets to special summon whatever else you used as a Link, as long as it was 4 or lower. In this case, we're going to special summon the Clock Wyvern. Obviously, the Proxy Magician can do a fusion, but we have to use the third part of the skill and turn it into 2 Dark Dragons. Now it can use its skill We get a Borreload Dragon in the middle. It's important we do it in the middle because then you can use Cynet Fusion. As long as you don't have anything in the extra monster zone, you can use a Link monster from your graveyard. We use that along with the clock. Or no, sorry, we didn't have the clock. We're going Chimera. That way you can destroy the Chimera with the Borreload's effect. When you destroy the Chimera, you get to add a Cynet and a clock to your hand. Here he Book of Moons or Borreload, getting rid of one instance of removal, but we still have a Cosmic Cyclone, and we still have a compulsory evacuation device. So just as good as a field can possibly get turn 1 for us we had here. He sets a back row, thankfully for us, goes with the Malicious, it's a Needle Ceiling over there. Searches a Poly, goes with the Poly again, goes for Dystopia. Now he's going to do a bit of damage, and the Dystopia is going to try to hit our Cosmic Cyclone. That's why we say thankfully he already had the Needle Ceiling down, so we're able to get the Needle Ceiling. Now he's gonna bump his attack up once again, but we got the compulsory evacuation device on the Sunrise. He destroys the Borreload, but we're still okay. We get a Link Slayer. Borreload's going to special summon Decoder. We even get a cutscene. This Decoder was added to the graveyard by the skill that, by the part of the skill that he enabled the Borreload to begin with. So here we go. Then we normal summon over the Chimera for the Link Slayer, because that will trigger the Chimera's effect, giving us a Cynet and a clock. Dystopia, for some reason, uses effect on the Link Slayer. It's going to completely ruin the duel for him. So now we have a Cynet Fusion. We use that Decoder we special summon. And the clock. For the Clock Dragon, he gets up to 5.5k because he used a 3 Link to summon it. Sets a card, goes with Celestial. Destiny effect once again to return a Malicious and draw a Plasma. And then I guess, I think he returns the Plasma. Did it just to get the Malicious out. Now we get a compulsory of our own. Let's see here, he normal summons a Drill Dark. Normal summons a Drill Dark. Goes with the Dark Rebellion. Now we have a compulsory. But remember, he returned the Plasma, so it's not a Plasma in hand. It is a Forbidden Lance. So he's able to Forbidden Lance his monster. It does lower his attack though. So he's not going to do lethal. He's not going to do the 2500. He only does the 1700. Why wouldn't he flip his monster over and do lethal? It's probably a Dreamer. So definitely is a Dreamer. Spoiler alert. Look what we get. We get the Degrade Buster. We swing over the Dreamer. Now you're probably like, why didn't you banish that Rebellion Dragon? We can't do it till it's his turn because it would lower the Rebellion Dragon's attack to 25 when we brought it back. Then we wouldn't be able to banish it again this turn. He would be able to Kamikaze, swing at us, win the duel. Here we wait for his battle phase. Now we banish the much bigger monster, completely stopping his battle phase. We swing at his little monster. See here, now Degrade Buster can't banish him, so we're a little more vulnerable if we didn't get Terrors of the Overroot. But we did. He tries to threaten us with a Brute Enforcer. We remove him and give him a Poly for doing it. But obviously he didn't have a fusion to use that Poly. We top deck a Clock Dragon. Very good top deck as we get our token. He's going to Paley Canadia our Clock Wyvern. But watch this. Talkback Lancer can tribute that face down Clock Wyvern to special summon the Decoder around all these monsters, bumping him up over that monster, and Talkback Lancer finish him off with the lethal. What a crazy little monster. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing another Clock Cyberse deck. So he's going second, we're going first. Let's go first a lot with this deck. It has first turn plays, it has second turn plays. Generally prefer the second turn. Oh, this is perfect. So I replaced this card with a different compulsory because our skill stops this card. You can't special summon from the graveyard except Wind and Dark. It does affect this trap, believe it or not. So we are facing a mirror match. He's going CNET Mining. Goes with a Microcoder after summoning his Clock Wyvern. Fusion Clock Up. That's now a Stack Reviver. He's going to revive that stack after going into the Proxy Magician. These are all pretty core plays. There it is. Fusion Clock Up on the Borreloads. For a Borreload, not on the Borreload, I should say. Then he's got a Cynet Fusion. He's got their Chimera. So this is like, you know, perfect board load setup. He even has a back row to boot. Too bad we top decked our one Dark Hole and now all his monsters are gone. He does get the clock and the Cynet back with the Chimera effect. But we have Link Slayer to hit the back row. We have Degrade Buster to search as fuel as for the skill. So we get, or actually we should, that was actually a really bad play. We should have gone with the Cynet, always go with the Cynet, because you're going to get Cynet back, and we'd rather have the Degrade Buster instead of having two Cynets in hand. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing Little Yug. I think this is in fact Exodia. Did you guys see that, I don't know what what kind of tournament it was. I'm pretty sure it was more than just some local or regional tournament, but some guy in actual Yu-Gi-Oh! Won a tournament with Exodia, so pretty crazy. Anyway, here's the Link Slayer, hitting that back row, boom. It was a wall of D. We use our skill, throw away a clock to grab a clock and a Cynet, then we bring out the clock, fusion it up to a Stack Reviver, use it. That's the Proxy Magician, that's gonna trigger the Stack Reviver, bring back the clock, use our Boar Load skill, we change two of them to Dark Dragons, and the Proxy Magician can bring it out. Remember, Proxy Magician is the only way you can do it. You can't bring out this monster with the Cynet Fusion. So there's the Boar Load. We even bring out the Degrade Buster. Many ways to lethal here. Swing over the Forbidden One's leg. We tried him for lethal, but he has a Karibo. At least it wasn't a Kiteroid. And we're likely going to be able to take him out next turn, really, no matter what he top decks. He shows us the poor lad. He got Heart of the Underdog as his final top deck, and then scoops. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Ghost Gal. We're going second, both on Tiny Win Streaks. She was looking for a rank up, but we weren't about to allow that. Link Slayers and Clock Wyverns, get used to it. She set one monster, so we just have to figure out a way to lethal. We throw away the third Link Slayer we pulled for another Cynet and Clock Wyvern, so now we have three of those too. Good poker hands. Not the best Yu-Gi-Oh hands, but not the worst either, as we're going to turn our monster into that. Go with a Proxy Dragon over the Stack Reviver. That's going to bring out the clock once again. Then we're still linking, guys. That's going to bring out this Equimax. Now, we're not using the Equimax for the Equimax. Pretend it was my Decider. I switch out the Equimax for the Decider. Just a 3-rank link. Then we go that into the Cyberse Dragon. We're 5.5k. Swing over that. Probably could have got to lethal somewhere with the Borlow Dragon, but as you can see, our boy did not want any of it. Great stuff, guys. Alright, here we are facing a Jaden. I remember this duel. This duel's going to give you a good look at one of the monsters I've snuck in here and one of the new decks we're going to play. All that crazy stuff. He's using Eternal Bond. It's a new Neos Ubel skill. So I thought, you know, there's a good monster for this deck that we have in this deck. We throw away a Link Slayer for a clock. Bring out another Link Slayer, bring out another clock, fusion up that little token to an actual monster, then don't even use it. Phase is out of the deck. It's a little harder to use, so I generally don't use it or replace it with a little Proto Dragon. That's much easier to get out. But we still could have got to this monster a little better with actually a clock out instead of that Reviver. But he is Detonate Deleter. He will destroy anything that fights him that's not a level 3 Link monster, level 3 or higher. So this guy brings out all the Ubels. Look at this skill. He just normal summoned a Ubel and just brought out a final Ubel. Has the goal to swing it at my monster. He's going to get hit with the Deleter. Now, if the Deleter was going to get destroyed through other means, I could tribute that monster and not get destroyed. But here, he tries to swing at us, gets destroyed. Pretty funny stuff. So, it's a lot going on with this deck. This is one of those decks where the skill changes the deck so much you can't even really make sense of it by looking at it. You would look at it and you would say this deck has no means of summoning the Borlow Dragon or a bunch of different things. Why is the random Dark Hole in there? All sorts of stuff. But still worth it if you already have Cyberse monsters. All you really need is that Clock Dragon and one other Clock Wyvern and you're good. The skill does all the heavy lifting. So it's very free to play friendly. So hope you guys enjoyed, and thanks for watching.